Cool. We're back. Always the worst. Back again. Simpsons in review. Season 2. That's what I do. I rhyme. Um, God, this is weird. Take 2 it is, apparently. Simpsons in review is back. Hosted by myself, Michael, the Raging Robot, and Chris the Sapien. Chris, how we doing?
Aye, not too bad. I'm in sync, which is nice. So I'm
Good.
happy.
Well, it's a bit late. It's no longer May, but E. Um, yes, we're looking at Simpsons season 2. And you were saying it's hit the comedy stride. It's still a family drama, but it's got a lot more of the comedy stuff to it, which is very noticeable. There's a lot more outlandish kind of stories. I say outlandish, like it's still a family drama, but it's like stuff that's a bit out there.
This is when you're starting to see weird things like Homer getting ridiculous jobs and some of the exaggerations of like when he gets hair and the promotions. But
Yes.
how about we start from the beginning? Bart gets an
Yes.
F.
Art gets an
So
F.
far, it has the most weight in this whole show, in this
Mhm.
season so far. Because I feel like after this is when we're starting to jump into Simpsons being a bit more ridiculous, a bit more cartoonish. But Bart Gets an
Yeah,
F really picks off where season 1 ended, of family drama that has funny elements.
yeah. This is still quite a. This is a very grounded episode. It hits very real. With obviously, if we, this is another instance of us looking at this so many years later and going back and realizing that it was actually onto something, and it's a situation that's affecting a lot of people nowadays. It could have been before, we just didn't notice it. So Bart is just realizes that he may just be stupid.
Yeah, and
He might just be dumb. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
he's going to fail. The prospect of this episode is he's going to fail the 4th grade because he just can't seem to get a pass. At the first, he makes fun of it. He kind of just pushes through. It's like, it's fine, it's fine. Then you have this really
Yeah.
heart-wrenching scene with him, the teacher, and the psychologist from season 1, who I don't think we see again after this season. It's like, I think it's the last time you see him, that the child psychologist. And
Yeah.
they're beating around the bush about it, and Bart snaps and goes, right, we all know what we're thinking. You know it, I know it. I'm dumb, okay? Like, I don't know why, I'm just dumb. And this sets up this episode of the next test he takes. If he fails it, he's failed enough to fail the course, like to fail the grade. And it's about his journey. It's almost like the hero arc, the stereotypical hero arc of him trying to get through all of
Mm-hmm.
this. And to people who don't know what the hero arc is, it's an interesting story kind of telling process of their call to action, something bad happens, they keep progressing forward, and then the world changes at the other end for them. But in sitcom fashion, the world doesn't change. It goes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. It's the monomyth,
Yes.
as it's sometimes known in films. Um, two films that are known for having that are the Star Wars trilogy and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, of course. Adds great comparisons.
This is Bart gets an F. You can feel the guilt. Obviously, Bart does feel bad for a lot of his procrastination. He realizes that maybe if he's stuck into it, he could be smarter. But then at the end of the day, it's just nope.
Yeah.
He just is destined to not know things.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it harkens back to a lot of modern stuff, and I'm gonna get very very topical, very kind of sort of real here. It's the classic. We are being tested on what we can remember. Teachers are saying, read this book. I'm going to ask you questions from this book, and let's see what you can remember. There's not an application of knowledge. There's not an application of, anything else, really. It's just memory. And if you've got a bad memory, then you're screwed.
What's really great is this episode goes into that, because the reason Bart passes because he fails the test. He tries really hard. He prays for a snow day, and it happens.
Yeah.
and he studies, and it's a heart-wrenching scene of watching him slap himself to keep himself focused. As his family watch him through that window, instead of actually being there for him, knowing that their son is about to fail the fourth grade, not one of them help.
No.
And then watching him do that and try, and then he doesn't do it. He can't do the test. He's not great at it. But then has his wee monologue where he bursts into tears and explains this must be how George Washington feels at this point in time. And she's like, that's applied knowledge. And she has to pass him with a D-. And it's the greatest moment ever of having his paper being put up on the wall, well, on the fridge. It's lovely.
It is. Really nice.
One of the other kind of good bits in this that's kind of glossed over is the fact he gets Martin to help him. But instead of helping him, he just makes Martin cool.
Yeah, and that's it. He's just done nothing to help.
Yeah. But yeah, Bar Gets an F is a great way to start this season for anybody coming from season 1 of The Simpsons. It's like it continues onward. And then when we
it's still...
When we get into season, episode 2, that's when we start getting into what I would call The Simpsons. Like what we remember it as, this is the kind of starting point for me.
Yeah. Simpson and Delilah. So, Chris, you were struggling with, makes me think, do you know the story that this is based on? Or the kind of opposing
Samson?
thing?
Where he's golden locks.
Samson and Delilah.
Look at me.
Yes.
I know my history.
So that's where Delilah's coming from. But this is, I say history, it's a Bible story. But this is the kind of reverse. Obviously, Homer gets hair, and what's weird is he gets the hair, but he doesn't have the confidence right away.
No,
he's just realized that I've got hair, that means I'm better. But he's put in the position of power. He's promoted to junior executive, and he gets really he's still antsy. He still doesn't feel right. Until Carl, fucking Carl, comes along with a voice like an 8-year-old woman who's just smoked cigarettes and drank brandy her entire life. That's what Carl sounds like. And it's just glorious. Carl is Homer's Jiminy Cricket. Except he does a good job.
Yeah, Carl, he steals the show in this episode. One of the big bits of this, like, it gets me is watching him fail, because sitcom rules, you have to go back to everything at the beginning of the episode, and the end of the episode needs to be roughly the same. You can't have any big changes. And watching him fail doing his speech, which is brilliant, because he's bald, really fucking annoyed me, because I'm a bald man. It's like, no. Yeah. But what got me more than that is Mr. Burns is bald. There was like 3 other people in that auditorium listening to him who are bald, who are going, this guy. And you're like, you're executives. Like, why has nobody give you any guff for that? But outside of that, like, having Marge kind of need to reinforce to Homer that she thinks he's beautiful was sweet. But outside that, there was nothing really going on in this episode. Again, it felt very just, it's a laugh. It was an episode that was for a laugh for me.
Yeah. What is really good is there's the Marge backing Homer up and being like, look, you look fine without hair. It's not something you need. But she recognizes that it's something he wants, and it's something that he needs to do for himself. It's like when a partner is like, I want to lose a few pounds, and they're just like, you don't need to lose any weight. You look perfect the way you are. But like, no, it's not about that. It's about, I want to do this for me. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's really good. Sort of Marge is there for him. They've come back from what happened in season 1.
Oh, very true.
And their various tiffs. But yeah, a pretty sort of gloss over. Oh, episode 3, Treehouse of...
Moving on.
So we're not... For those of you who don't know, we're not looking at the Treehouse of Horror episodes. We are brushing past them because they may make an appearance later on in the year. Which is very annoying to me because Treehouse of Horror episode 1 features a certain James Earl Jones.
You won't get to see that for months.
I can watch it of my own accord.
That's not the agreement you made.
No, I'm sorry. I have... Yes.
Now,
we move on to 2 cars in every garage and 3 eyes on every fish. I think the title here is a play on... There was supposedly rumor. It's been told that it's not true. It was rumored to be in the speech of a political candidate that was running for office again, and it was 2 cars in every garage and a chicken in every pot. But that's not where it wasn't part of a political running
Yeah.
speech. I don't know where it came from, but that was the kind of phrase.
This is the thing. I watched this and everything about this went, this is Donald Trump's campaign, by the way. Like,
Buy, throw money at it,
no,
throw money at
even
it.
like daft stuff. Like when Mr. Burns said, we've got to get the bureaucrats out. That was him saying we're going to drain the swamp. And shit, I couldn't believe it. I was watching it going, oh my god, this analogues right now. How, no, this is weird. Did he watch this episode? Did he watch this and go, Mr. Burns nearly pulled this off? Maybe I can do it. It was nuts to watch. It was so weird, and it was showing you this idea of politics, of what it's going to be. Like, politics isn't going to be about politicians anymore. It's going to be about businessmen. It's going to be about celebrities. It's going to be about all these other factors that ain't about policies. And it was weird to watch. It was such a deep episode, even though it was based around a three-eyed fish. Like, the only reason he done it was he didn't want to shut his plant down because of a safety inspection.
Yeah, so we look at the amount. Now, we know Mr. Burns to be in a billionaires club. It's revealed later on that he's part of a billionaires club, which means he has too much money. That's too much money for anyone to have. But it would cost them $56 million to rectify, which is, my maths isn't great, but that's 0.56% of a billion. It would probably save him more than that in the long run to just go, here's a check for $56 million, fix everything that's wrong with this plant, and we'll go again.
Yeah. It was nuts. But the fact that he went and done it, and I kind of, one angle of this that I wish they went with more was, you didn't really learn much about the other politician he was going up against, the other governor. Yeah, that she was a
Mary Bailey.
Good person. That was it. You didn't hear nothing. And then Marge stands by her. But again, her voice is so muted in this that you're like, she was in my opinion in this the right and does the cool thing with the fish and make them eat it. But you don't get to get enough background on it to really great weight. And the fact is, how Homer's life was not ruined after that dinner, like actually ruined, like lose his job and all this other things, was mind-boggling. Like, that shit should have really hit the fan.
They could maybe put that up to the fact that Mr. Burns basically wrecked their house at the end of the episode.
No, I love Lisa. Like, is destroying our meager things really going to make you feel better? You're like, oh
yeah, and then he's like, no, it was Mr. Burns goes, no, let's go back to our the mansion and destroy something of value. Savage. But yeah, Mr. Burns and Smithers just start fucking tearing up their house because they lost. So that was sad. It was nasty.
Horrible, wasn't it?
But he's a nasty man.
He's not a nice man. Now we go on to.
Oh, was it? No. So there was a There was a fact I wanted to bring up about Simpson and Delilah, and that was the first we were told Mr. Burns' age.
80 odd,
but
84,
81.
So close.
However, his age would vary throughout the series, so it makes no difference. He does not have a distinct age. If anyone in a quiz ever asks you what is Mr. Burns' age, you can't give a right answer.
I'm pretty sure at one point his age is his PIN number, which is 4 digits.
Yeah, he types in 4 digits for his PIN number. He is supposedly old enough to be the second person to have received a social security number after Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And at one point he was over 100 years old.
Yeah. So he is Keanu Reeves of this world. He doesn't age.
No. Apparently he just fluctuates his age as is his want.
Yes. He's that rich. He's like, I will be what age I want to be today.
Yes. Sorry, we're moving on. Dancing Homer.
That's a fun episode.
Fun episode. There's not much to talk about, but it is a really good story of someone taking chances on something outlandish, a dream, if you will. Like they're just like, you know what? It's not a particularly secure job. It may not pay all the bills. We do need to move to a different city, but let's try it. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And it's good fun.
I kind of like the telling of the story by Homer in this episode, actually. I'm not usually a fan of this, but I felt like it worked. It was the same with Bart telling his story with the Telltale Head.
Yeah.
I liked him telling it because it created a wee bit more heart to it, of hearing his recollection of the fact that he knows he's going to fail at the end of it, and you feel it as he's talking about it. And
Yeah.
it has a really nice quote in this for me that I've got lined up for you, so here you go.
What's wrong with you people? Let's show some spirit. Come on, get up. Your team needs you. Come on. And I got up in front of them. I felt an intoxication that had nothing to do with alcohol. It was the intoxication of being a public spectacle. There's so much wrong with you people.
And I just love that. The idea of, it's like, for the first time ever, I was intoxicated not by alcohol, but by being a spectacle. And that's what this episode's about. It's about being a spectacle. It's like when he gets to the end and he's talking to Mo and Barney and Carl and everybody, he was saying that they wanted them to tell the story again. And he's like, I'm the centre of attention. Because that's all Homer ever wants, is to be the centre of attention. And it ends in a really weird moment of saying, why is it stories about failure and humiliation are always the ones that we want to hear? It's just nicely played off as Mo going, I don't know, but we just do.
Yeah. And it's sort of a really nice, again, heartfelt moment. And it's good, even though, Homer considered himself a failure because he didn't make it as a big old, baseball mascot. But people wanted to hear his story, and it gave him this sense of worth, which was really nice.
It shows you the small town thing. Because when he goes to Capital City to be the dancing mascot in Capital City, it doesn't work. It's like Capital City are like, who's this guy? I don't care about him. But that's the point. It's about loving who you know, kind of thing, like the town that you're from. Because our town loved them. And Lisa has a great moment of like, everybody in this town already knows us and has forgiven us. It's like they've already forgave us. And I'm like, that it's such a put away scene. It's just like very momentary. I'm like, oh, you cheeky sod, that was brilliant, because that's exactly what Springfield is. Like, they've got away with murder later on. They get away with attempted murder.
Yeah, it was. I also would low key absolutely love to be a mascot for a sports team. By the way, I think that'd be amazing. I'd love to dress like, put on like a crazy fucking act like an idiot, essentially. That's my dream. If I could just do that professionally.
I don't know if I could do that. I think my nerves would get the better of me of just everybody staring at me being a tit.
But no one knows it's you, though, because you got that face on.
No, I'm out. Couldn't do it. I can't.
Oh, mate. No, I'm in. I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'll buy that for $1.
So, last episode of the season, we've actually fired through this because this is a change, and I'd like to talk about some of this at the end.
I mean, last episode of the ones we watched, maybe not
the season, but at this point, we'll get into this after this. The Dead Putting Society, which, like the first one, actually has some weight behind it of why this episode happens. So, Michael, take us through it. Take us through the episode.
So, they're doing the lawn work. Homer's cutting the grass. Ned's cutting the grass, and Ned's like, "Oh, Homer, come on over for a beer." And Homer almost sees it as like a show of, I don't know, dominance. It's not really the word, but he sees it as a show off kind of thing. Becomes jealous, and he's like, "Oh, you just want to show off that your house is better, that you've got beer on tap, and your wife's hotter than mine." So they have a little tiff, but Flanders tries to make it up, and then they get their kids involved and make them compete to see which family is better, kind of, in a mini golf tournament.
As Homer put it, the fruits of my loins is better than the fruits of your loins. Yeah. So yeah, it gets really murky, and it's a shame because I feel for Ned in this episode because he tries to patch up the fence, and Homer drags him back in at every opportunity. He sends him a lovely letter,
Yes.
a bit on the emotional side for someone just saying sorry about you being jealous of me, in my opinion.
It's good. Obviously, Homer's usually the one in the wrong. Just as a general theme across The Simpsons, Homer is usually in the wrong.
Yeah.
But this is at one point. So obviously Ned does apologize at first, but then he gets dragged back into it for the bet, and we realize that Ned, despite him having this whole holier than thou fucking thing about him, he can be corrupted.
Or he could be right snidey. Like, see some of these wee throwaway comments. You're just like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's some shade, Ned.
Yeah. But Bart ends up having to go training to be as good at mini golf as he can, and maybe realizes that Homer is not the best person to teach him.
Oh, he is the worst. He's actually so bad. Like, that's child abuse level bad that happens here with him, because Bart doesn't want to respect his tools of the craft because he doesn't care about it, and Homer forces him to take a name for it, and then he chases him with it like he's got to beat him with it, and you're like, mate, it's mini golf. Just because if you lose you have to dress up in your wife's outfit doesn't mean that you get to treat your son like this, screaming and shouting at him and strangling him the whole way.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there we go. You're back. We had, frozen Micheal.
Yeah,
there.
I kind of froze out for a second there. Gee, what happened to me?
So he comes back.
Yeah, so Homer obviously, Bart ends up going to Lisa for help, or can't remember. Did Lisa go to him
I can't remember.
to try and teach
I
him?
remember.
Yeah. But Lisa ends up trying to teach him through a different but better unorthodox method of sort of making him, feel at zen and think about the course as a mini golf course, instead of just the more you hit the ball, the further it'll go and the quicker it'll get. Like, there's bits you need to think about. Slow down, take your time, stuff like that, as golf should be played. Golf is not a speed game.
It is not. Even funny mini golf. But every one of us play it like a speed game because you think it's fun for like 5 holes, and then it just becomes the most frustrating thing in the world. So you're just like, I want this to end. I just want to go home or go get a beer. That's mini golf for me. It's never actually fun. It's only fun for a while. The novelty wears off so quickly.
Ow. Yeah. But then obviously there's the sort of resolution at the end of Bart and Todd just being like, this is stupid. Why are we fighting? We're not fighting.
Yeah.
Why are we involved in this?
Exactly.
So they just draw, which is a good thing.
It was lovely. It's a lovely moment between the kids. And then we have both of them need to go wear the dress because Homer can't take the fact that his boy didn't win. And I love it because Ned gets into it. He has a good time. He's like, this is funny and fun. And Homer's the one that gets humiliated. And that makes all of it, because it makes sense, because Homer's the bastard in this whole situation.
Yes.
I love Lisa's teachings. I love that. The fact that she goes to the library and gets all these books on putting and golf. And it was so cool because you don't see libraries like that anymore. It was kind of lovely. Good.
No, that is a very, very few and far between.
Yeah. And I like Bart's answer to the, what's the sound of one hand clapping? That's the sound of something else, Bart. I just want you to know that. And then his wee zen moment of when the tree falling down the wood and his eyes go, and we have it. Like,
his eyes just sort of go opposite. And
do you know what? I wish that was how easy it was to hit a zen state of mind, because I've meditated, I've tried all this stuff, and mate, I can't get my mind to stop talking about ninjas half the time, let alone get to a place of selflessness. Like,
ninjas are cool, though.
They are
cool.
Pretty cool. Right.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about the tone of this season, because there was a tonal shift in this season from the first, and I think it's the writers finding their feet on what they want the show to be.
Yes.
So season 1 was a family drama / comedy. Season 2 is a comedy that happens to have family drama in it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to, sum up.
Yeah, and as an adult looking back, I am liking it. I'm liking the change. I actually really enjoyed season 1 more than I ever enjoyed it. But I'm liking the silliness coming in. I feel like it's still aimed at kids, so it needs some silliness, where I felt season 1 didn't have enough silliness for me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh,
but
sorry, yous are keeping me awake here.
Okay.
No, yeah, I totally get you. Season 2 is, there's a lot more comedy elements. It's almost like they thought they might have been getting too close to a soap opera in how much family drama there was, but they were never obviously going to hit, soap opera levels of drama. So they went in the other direction, brought some more comedy elements, which really helps. Obviously, over the next few seasons, they would bring the comedy levels up again, and it's going to slowly drop in the drama.
Yeah, this is the balance shift, because then this balance shift just continues onwards to the tipping point, which I think, see, when the writer changes happened later on in the seasons, this balance shift and this tone change got all the way through to here, and then had a writer change who didn't understand the ins and outs of the show, of the drama elements, that pushed it to the ridiculous so much. And this is the start of it, because they had to find how to be really popular now to keep the show going.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because the next 3 or 4 seasons are gold, like absolute gold, because they get it perfect for me.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, because I've gone and watched a lot. I think I've watched a lot more Simpsons than you, in terms of properly. I don't know. I said I think. Okay. Well, where have you watched up to?
I'm watching the newest seasons backwards now.
Right, but have you watched all of it in order and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. You seem to be fucking throwing it out there as though you didn't know it. That yes didn't come across as very.
No, I have. I've watched The Simpsons a lot, a lot.
Okay, so I take that back then. I haven't watched it, but I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with some of the seasons near the middle, from seasons 8 through to 13, I'd say.
Do you know what it is? I think when I was watching them again, because I like to just jump into The Simpsons a lot. When I started watching them again, it was I transitioned away from them, went back to them, and when I went back with the eyes of knowing everything that went wrong, because you can't help but watch all the videos about what happened to The Simpsons, the fall of The Simpsons, and then you're already skewed to not like it.
Yeah.
So I've watched them, and probably through a glass half empty attitude. You know?
So you've watched it looking for the faults, as opposed to just watching it to watch it.
Kinda, which is a shame.
Yeah, because I feel a lot of the seasons, because you were season 7 is where it sort of drops off, but there are some gold episodes. I'm not saying the whole seasons, but there are some gold seasons and gold episodes from later seasons, man.
Yeah. Well, we will get to them soon.
Oh, we will, but in the meantime, we're still to finish season 2. Next week, we will be looking at the next 5 episodes. Should we give the list just now, or should we?
Go for it.
We have some fucking brilliant episodes, by the way. Bart versus Thanksgiving.
Oh, that one's good.
One of the best episodes, Bart the Daredevil.
That's the Gorge, isn't it?
That's the Gorge. Right. Itchy and Scratchy and Marge.
She cancels the show, or she tries to.
Bart gets hit by a car.
Another Mr. Burns episode.
Yep, but another Bart episode, so there's 3 Bart episodes coming up. You could say, and One Fish, Two Fish, Blowfish, Bluefish.
That one is so sad, actually. That's a sad episode.
But we can't discuss any of it now, because we will need to get into it.
Yeah, we really will need to get into that. So, next week, when we hit these ones, you're in for a treat, because there's some amazing episodes coming up. are a nice mixture of serious and funny,
Some gold.
actually. So,
Mm-hmm.
to
Oh yeah.
everybody out there in internet land, it's always a pleasure, and we have been always the worst.